David Bay here for MuscularDevelopment.com. I am here with Peter McGuff and Callie Bundy, just wrapping things up from prejudging of day one here at the 2016 Arnold Sports Festival. I'm going to start with Callie. We were over at the Women's Physique earlier on at the Patel Grand. Definitely an interesting setup for the 2016 Arnold. Instead of doing an invitation like they normally do, they just opened it up to any women's physique competitors. We weren't really sure how they were going to narrow this down. It actually was judged pretty well, went very smoothly. They basically just did it like you would a national level show. Came out in comparison groups of 8s, did their quarter turns and their mandatories, did 5 or 6 call-outs again as they would a national level show, chopped it down to our top 10. Big surprise in the top 10 this morning was your runner-up at the Olympia, Kira Newman, outside of the top 10. What happened there?
Well, I think if you look at who they actually put in first, which was Autumn, you could tell they were going with a much harder look, and I think Kira was just way too soft.
Yeah, Kira Newman definitely coming in a little bit off her game. The first call out for women's physique, we had Autumn Swenson, your 5th place finisher at the Olympia this year. She was moved front and center, stayed there the whole time. To her left and right, we had Danny Reardon, Mindy O'Brien, presumably your top 3. Is there any way Autumn Swenson isn't walking away the winner here this weekend?
I don't think so. And overall, her whole package, like her hair, her makeup, her tan, her posing, her physique, everything was pretty flawless.
Now, Peter, you were at the Olympia, and you saw Autumn there, and Peter actually was one of the only ones this weekend that predicted that Autumn could be the winner. Now, you weren't there. She was a little bit more muscular than she was at the Olympia, brought her conditioning down, put her into first place. I mean, does that surprise you at all, even though you didn't see it?
No, because at the Olympia, I thought she should have probably been up in 3rd. And actually, this is only her 3rd contest. So she's still pretty new to this, but condition-wise, I mean, she's everything you need. I mean, we have the old conundrum, what is too much in this division, but it looks like the package she brought is taking her home.
Yeah, Autumn looked fantastic. Rounding out the top 5, Tammy Marie and Jacqueline Adams. In the top 10, we did see some other names that we've seen around in fitness. Michaela Soto, newcomer to the scene, Susan Smith. Big hopes for Susan here. She looked fantastic at Nationals. Won in Phoenix, maybe just slipped a little bit structurally getting compared against some of the other best girls, but I still think Susan looked really good.
Yeah, no, I thought she looked great. I mean, again, we talked about it last night. She definitely just has a presence on stage. Your eye just goes to her. But yeah, I think she was just not as, again, based off of what they were going for, it wasn't as streamlined. She was more poppy.
All right, moving forward into our fitness division, Peter, no surprises here. Bethany Wagner, front and center for the physique portion of the fitness. Bethany seems to always be in the driver's seat in this part of the fitness competition.
Yeah, she's got the best overall look, head to toe, of any of the lineup, and probably, I mean, this is equal to an Olympia in the top places. I was surprised that Tanya Johnson was moved out. I sort of saw Tanya and Bethany as the top 2 as far as physique went.
Yeah, no, Tangi usually right up in the front and center. I believe last year your top 2 comparisons were Tangi and Bethany. She was moved to the outside a little bit with Whitney Jones and Oksana Grishina, who actually usually doesn't do that well in the physique portion. Oksana looks like she's either going to be in 2nd or 3rd, and with the way she does her routines, it looks like she's going to be in the driver's seat for tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever David said.
Whatever David says. And again, rounding out your top 5 for the fitness, Tangi Johnson and Missy Terwilliger. I think I got that right. She looked fantastic. First time at the Arnold for her. So moving forward, our final women's division of today, which was figure. No surprises here. Last year's champion, Camila Rodriguez, and your reigning Olympia champion, Latoria Watts, front and center. They were actually the final call-outs. How do you see that one playing out?
Well, I have to say, I've never really come to terms with Latoria's delt development. I see it as maybe not too big for this division. And I thought overall, Candice Lewis had the best look. Latoria was more defined, particularly in the thighs. But there again, I'm thinking, is this a physique show or just a frame show? You know, so.
All right, now Peter did bring up an interesting point. Candice Lewis looks like she's going to be right around 5th or 6th place. Now, if I have to make that call, I'm saying it was because she looked maybe a little bit softer than she normally brings, or her conditioning was a little softer. Your thoughts on Candice being outside of the top 4?
Well, first of all, I thought she looked awesome. I mean, again, just totally radiant. Like her hair, her makeup, her skin, her whole package. I really liked the way she looked. I like the fact that she still had some softness, but yet when she posed, she did harden up a little. But again, it seems like they want more of a hard look overall. So personally, yeah, I think Candice looked great, but wasn't the case.
All right, well, rounding out your top 6, we also had Sydney Gillen. Looks like she's going to be even in 3rd or 4th. Jennifer Strobo, somebody we always see in the top spots. And Heather Dees. Now, Heather, a little bit of trouble with her posing, it looked like, but she definitely came back in a big way. We know she had a few appearances that she didn't place as well as she would have liked, really put in the work for this show.
Yeah, she had a nice shape to her, really narrow hips and waist, and then the flare at the top. So she looks like she's sort of positioning herself to move up maybe in the future.
All right, well, that's going to round it out for our women's competitors for today. Getting on to the meat and potatoes of Friday morning's prejudging. That is your men's 212. Peter, we had 9 guys, a little bit of a shallow lineup as far as competitor numbers go. Definitely not a shallow lineup as far as quality. How did you see this playing out?
Well, I mean, Jose's Raymond, defending champion. I didn't see that he dominated this. David Henry was in it, Hide was in it. I still think it's all to play for. I think Jose needs to get a little bit harder, a little bit fuller. He didn't seem to have that deepness in detail that he had last year. So I think he needs to fill out a little bit without spilling over. David, I was very impressed with condition-wise. I mean, his thighs were ripped even though they were a bit shallow. But overall, the shape of the guy, the silhouette of the guy, is terrific, and he, as always, is super competitive.
Yeah, it was probably one of the best David Henrys I've seen in a long time, if not ever. Again, as you guys know, his quads don't quite match that upper body, but his conditioning was right on. Some of the other guys in that first call-out, we had Charles Dixon and Guy Cisternino, 2 kind of completely different physiques. Charles Dixon being as wide as he is tall. Guy Cisternino actually looking like he had streamlined his physique a little. What did you think of some of the guys in the top 5?
Again, I think there was a lot of quality as far as the guys went, and it seems like it kept going back and forth between Hide and Jose. I think Jose, from the back, definitely took it, in my opinion. But I also want to point out that they were making them work for their lunch up there.
Wow.
They were putting them through the rigor, as you could say, as far as their posing went. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And as a bodybuilding fan and as a media person, you almost hate to see it when they call out these guys at a show of this caliber. They put them through 1 round and they say, okay, you guys are done. You want to see them compared. Now, Steve Weinberger, it seems like Steve Weinberger more and more at these big shows is flip-flopping everybody. We saw Guy Cisternino in the center, which surprised a lot of people. Then they put Hidetada in the center, Jose Raymond. They really worked these guys this morning.
Yeah, and it brings that level of super competition to it. They're having to be shuttled around, as you say. It's not just this formality of, okay, you 5, off you go, cheerio. They were swapping them around. The sweat was lashing. The guys were looking, when is this going to be over? But it really was a competition to watch, and everybody got a chance in the middle.
Now, when you're talking super competition, we got to bring up a guy not in the top 5 who had super conditioning. In fact, I don't know when I've seen, or rather when the last time I've seen somebody as lean as John Meadows was here this morning. Not quite the structure or the lines of some of the guys in the top 5, and I have to guess that that's why he wasn't in that top 5. Still would have liked to have seen him get a look against those guys. Overall, what did you think of John's showing?
I mean, for condition, he may be the best of the weekend. We've still to see the men's open. To me, he actually got harder the more it went on. In fact, I've just heard he's pumping up and he's exploded. There's nowhere else to go for him. But he looked great, very competitive, in front of his hometown crowd. I think he's really enjoying the experience.
If you had to make a guess at what John's body fat percentage was, you guys, it's really, and I know I say this all the time, you got to be sitting there, you got to be in the front row. So I sure hope that the pictures and the video we have does John justice. But he's got to be pushing as low as we've ever seen. If you had to guess, where's he at?
Even to use the word body fat doesn't seem to make sense because he didn't have any. None. He was just completely there was non-existent. And I think that sometimes that, like anything else, that can work against you. Like when you're that one guy on stage that has it, nobody else does. it's tough to reward because, like, where do they go from there? And he was also sweating the most during the posing. I saw a few towels being handed to him, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, so kudos to John. A lot of hard work going into this weekend. We're going to find out how everything plays out tonight. Finals are at 7 p.m., guys. Make sure you check back. We're going to have our play-by-play going on, as always. Videos of the call-outs, finals, and everything else you guys are used to. But for now, that's going to wrap it up. Get on the forums. Let us know what you thought of prejudging, and we'll have the videos up of the prejudging and everything that happened this morning ASAP for you guys to watch. But for now, that's going to do it for us. So for Peter McGuff, Callie Bundy, I am David Bay for MuscularDevelopment.com from the 2016 Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic.